It can be hard to budget on a low income. It may seem impossible to save money on a tight budget, but it's not. In this video, you will find helpful tips for how to save money fast on a low-income budget. You will learn how to cut expenses and live below your means without feeling deprived. When implemented, these frugal living habits will help you achieve financial freedom while still enjoying life. Before we jump into the video, if you could please invest in hitting the like button so that we can get this video in front of other viewers looking for information just like this. Also be sure to subscribe so that you can be up to date on all our future videos. A budget does not need to be painful. When money is tight, the temptation is to cut expenses. However, it's important to remember that most low-income people live above their means. If you're already spending an outrageous amount, you may be better off cutting out expenses to save money. You won't get what you want, but you'll get enough to pay your bills. Review your spending. It's time to review your spending habits. Just as you would with your monthly expenses, review your spending so you can cut down on unnecessary purchases. Perhaps there are some quick fixes for your personal budget. Perhaps you can save a few bucks by purchasing your car and living without one. Whatever your expenses are, analyze them to find ways to cut them. 2. Lower your housing cost. Low-income budgets typically don't allow for too much luxury, but if you want to live comfortably, you can still live a fairly comfortable life on a low-income budget. You may even be able to save a little extra money on rent. You may need to get creative and look for ways to cut costs. One way to save on rent is to combine multiple units to share a house. Instead of living in a one-bedroom apartment, you could live in two. This could result in a significantly reduced cost per room. Another way to cut costs is to do some remodeling on your home. There's a huge savings to be had when you make your home better looking and more comfortable. You can find incredible deals on new furniture, yard sales, and flea markets, as well as great deals on used furniture and appliances. 3. Budget your money wisely. You will save money by using a money-saving app or having a cash-only budget. You should create a monthly budget and set a savings goal. It is important to note that by setting a budget, you will save money because you'll have control over your spending habits. It doesn't mean you can't splurge every once in a while or buy those hot-ticket items, but it will be limited. Other strategies for saving money. Buy in bulk. When you buy in bulk, it usually means you'll buy cheaper items. The same is true for eating out. Buying at restaurants with multiple meals is a great way to cut your costs. Instead of going out several times a week, you can order in your favorite meals and keep them in your freezer. It's also a great way to cut your grocery bill. 4. Make a budget that works for you. If you can't afford to spend a lot of money on a daily basis, a good starting point for a budget is your income. Look at the most recent pay stub and see how much money you make from each source. Include any bonuses or overtime you have been paid. These tips will help you make a realistic budget based on your income. Get a copy of your last tax return or prepare yourself and use estimated taxes in the following months to see if you have a large tax liability. You may be able to save up money for a major expense in the near future. Obtain a copy of your federal tax return from the IRS to help you find out the amount of federal income tax you owe. Use your estimated taxes to figure out how much you have to pay and set aside your tax refund to buy something for yourself. Before we jump into number 5, please hit the like button and be sure to subscribe for more videos just like this. 5. Comparison shop for electronics and other goods. When you're on a tight budget, you may need to find ways to cut back, but it's not always wise to forego some of the necessities. You'll also need to spend money on nice things like new electronics and a car. But shopping around and comparing prices can often save you money. Instead of paying a lot for an electronics device, you can find cheaper alternatives. Instead of going to the mall to buy clothing, you can shop online and find similar looks at a lower price. Make sure you know what you're getting before you buy. Comparison shopping can save you money and keep your budget in balance. Save for big purchases and cash. There's nothing more frustrating than walking into a store to find you've been charged for an item you don't want. 6. Price match to save time and money. Getting the best deal is a great way to save money, but it's hard to know how to match the price to save the most. In the meantime, you could wait for a big sale before you buy something to get the best deal. Here are some tips for how to price match to save time and money. Don't overspend on impulse buys. Some impulse buys can be healthy, but when you shop on a tight budget, it's easy to be drawn to a seemingly good deal and buy something you don't need. Shop with coupons. Coupons are a great way to save money. Crop your grocery list with coupons for sale items, and shop sales in the coupons section of the Sunday paper. You may be surprised how much you can save. 7. Get out of debt. Yes, there is a way to get out of debt, but you have to be willing to cut back. Unfortunately, debt collection agencies are often targeting those who cannot afford to pay their debts. However, if you're willing to make drastic changes, you will have no problem getting out of debt. One way to get out of debt fast is to consolidate your debt. This may include repaying multiple debts at once. Others may say that paying off the high-interest debts first is best. While it might be better to tackle those debts first, if you have low or no income, you may want to tackle the low-interest debt first. This can be repaid over time. If you have no income and cannot pay your high-interest debts, then you should tackle those debts first. 8. Lower your bills. Stop going out. Being active and spending your weekends outdoors in nature are great ways to have fun while also saving money. It's much cheaper to have fun at home. You can book cheap holidays online and ask friends and family to join you. Instead, you can make your own DIY club and have a pool party, cook dinner together and go for family walks together. You can hang out at home and watch movies and play board games. It's much cheaper than going out. Save money on utilities. It's the old story. You pay for the usage for the length of the contract. It is tempting to take advantage of this to get the best deals on your electricity and gas, but it is better to cancel a few months before your contract expires. You don't want to make your first billing period too high and then pay more later. 9. Save on food. Saving money on food can be tough, but it doesn't have to be. So, get a great loan if you're a graduate or have a low income. It may be difficult to get a loan, but don't worry. You can get a loan with a better interest rate than a payday loan, which means you'll save money over the long term. And by the way, when you're ready to refinance, you can use Calculator to find out how much more money you'll make. Explore tax-free retirement savings plans. Have you heard about tax-free retirement accounts like IRAs, 401ks, and HSIs? And if so, do you know how much they cost? Most Americans don't even know these savings accounts exist. Finally, whether you're on a tight budget or have the average income, you can save money in your day-to-day life. Instead of eating out every day or going on expensive vacations, try to cut back on those expenses and save the money. Even if you don't have a lot of money in the bank, you can still earn extra money to spend on yourself or buy a treat for yourself. Follow tips and you will be able to save money and live without any worries.